one of the things that really scared me, and which and I tell this story all the time. One of the things that really was the turning point for me with New York and really the whole country, really, because everybody was doing this, but New York had the hardest policies for these mandates, was the fact that, I had heard many times throughout my life about a time will come when globalists will, gain footing and they will force a medical product on society. I always thought that was ridiculous and it would never happen. And then I saw a movie about it. This movie called Equilibrium with Christian Bale. And in that movie, everybody was forced to take this medical product to like desensitize them from feeling, and the product was called, what was it called? It was called Prosium. So everybody was on this medical product called Prosium to kind of like desensitize them from reality. And then they were easily like controlled. Like it took away their emotions so they wouldn't like retaliate on, being controlled. It took away their emotions so they wouldn't really ever realize, that the world was so terrible because they were on all these meds. So I thought like people would never do that. And like the whole society, took this medication every single day. And like if they missed it and they started to feel, they would run and take it again. And in this movie, the guy, for some reason, he misses a dose of his medicine and he starts to feel. And for some reason, he doesn't take the medicine anymore. His wife was a resistor and she was murdered or something like that. And he wasn't taking his medicine, so he began to feel. So this movie is really the reason why I was like, I'm getting out of New York, because these people are crazy. They're crazy. And they made it where you could not even work in New York. You could not work anywhere in New York without this medical product. Look, I have a clip from this movie. Y'all gotta watch this though. And when you get a chance, you need to really watch this movie. I'm gonna share my screen. Wait a second. I'm gonna get it together. Can you hear?
At last,
I don't have my earpiece on.
Peace reigns in the heart of man. At last, war is but a word whose meaning fades from our understanding.
This movie.
At last, we are whole.
But hold up. I saw this movie and I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought it was a bunch of bullshit and it would never, ever come to fruition. Just like the 1984 movie and the Thought Police and all that. I never thought that would come to fruition. But damn it, if the world is not like this right now. We are so close to this.
Libriums, there is a disease in the heart of man. Its symptom is hate. Its symptom is anger. Its symptom is rage.
So they're trying to convince the people that all of the problems of the world is them, and the way they think and how they perceive all the fucked up shit going on around them is you.
Its symptom is war. The disease is human emotion.
Now, I do believe that human emotion is a disease, because look at how everybody was all emotional over COVID. Their emotion was mostly fear, and it caused them to do some of the dumbest shit.
But Libria, I congratulate you, for there is a cure for this disease. At the cost of the dizzying highs of human emotion, we have suppressed its abysmal lows. And you, as a society, have embraced this cure.
Now, look, these people are taking a medical product every single day because the government told them to. And just like in the movie 1984, they're propagandized every day. They're told to be afraid every day. They're told something is wrong every day. And then it makes the people insane.
Prosium. Now we are at peace with ourselves, and humankind is one. War.
And it's the same bullshit. Like they try to convince you that it's for the greater good. It's for all of humanity that you follow these people and do, whatever they tell you to do. The reality is that they enslaving the whole world, and you're gonna, literally just work for these globalist corporations, and they'll be somewhere living rich and living fabulous and everything, and you'll never see them, and they have you brainwashed into doing all this dumb shit.
Is gone. Hate, a memory. We are our own conscience now. And it is this conscience that guides us to rate EC10.
And look at that shit. They even indoctrinated the kids. The kids in the movie, his child told on him that he wasn't taking his medicine or something like that. So COVID was just like that. How many families, broke up over it? And I'm telling you, I swear to you, this movie was a lot of the reason why I kind of just did not follow, and I just could not receive what they were telling me. It was this movie.
For emotional content. All those things that might tempt us to feel again. And destroy them. Librians, you have what?
Even like now, the globalists are trying to tell you, the thought police, they're censoring social media. They're doing everything I saw in this movie. They are doing it. And it just, for whatever reason, I just could not get that out of my mind of like the direction society is going in. That's why I love sci-fi, because sci-fi, the future hasn't happened yet. So when you watch a sci-fi movie, the possibilities are endless. That is true. 9 times out of 10, what you watch in a sci-fi movie will come to fruition.
Against all odds and your own natures, you have survived.
And then look what they did I'm telling you, just why I keep saying it's this movie, because over the vaccine mandates, they, was locking people up for not having masks and all of that stuff. I seen somebody get beat up on the street by the cops because they didn't have a mask on. Just crazy shit. In Australia, they were beating up the people for not wearing masks and for protesting about, forced medical products. It's exactly this movie. Like, don't this guy really remind you of like Klaus Schwab or like, Harari, whatever, the guy from the World Economic Forum? These people that they put in charge of this COVID thing, they just scared the hell out of me. And I just could never receive anything they were telling me because of that movie. And that's when I was like, I got to get out of New York, because they have the worst policies and they have no remedy for any of these policies. Like the vaccine mandates for the kids was insane. Like you can't even get exempt from it or anything. And I just was scared to death to be in New York at that point. And New York just had a lot of policies that were really fucking crazy. Let me see. One of the things that really was the last straw for me was they called it, at that time, they called it the COVID camp bill, but it is a real bill where New York City drafted a bill, New York State drafted a bill that would allow the government to lock you up, just like in this movie. And listen, I just got to show it to you, because this shit, when I heard about this is when it was time to go. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Let me see. First of all, let me just show you this. Because they're always lying. And I just want to show you this, because a lot of people, when I was talking about this, of why I want to get the fuck out of New York, nobody wanted to believe me. So let's go. Let's see. Look at this. They will always send me fact check shit. I used to get so mad when people used to send me fact checks, because I used to be like, no. Look, this fact check is saying that New York is trying to pass a bill that would allow them to round up non-mask wearers and people who don't want to take the vaccine into concentration camps. Then with a court order, they can force vaccinate you. Now, they say it's false. I'm going to show you the actual bill where it says that. They proposed this bill at least 4 or 5 times. This is what really made me want to get up out of New York, because I was like, what kind of policies are these people fighting for? And I cannot find this video, but Governor Hochul was on TV talking about, oh, well, we want this bill, but it's not what you think. And she was trying to downplay it. So that's why I know this was in the 2019, 2020 session. Like, they tried to, I guess they thought that they could get it through for COVID, and I guess nobody wanted to vote for it, I guess because they probably felt that it was to make the people crazy. That's not to say that they won't come later down the pike with that shit another time, but that made me say I got to go, because these people already don't like me out here because I don't have this vaccine. And will they lock me up? Will they take my child away from me? Like, what? I have heard stories in California where people have lost their children because they didn't want to get them vaccinated, or because one parent wants the other vaccinated. In my own family, I had somebody try to take one of my family members to court to vaccinate their child. That shit was fucked up, and they won in court. So that all of that shit together was like, I got to get the fuck out of here, because they are doing crazy shit in New York. Like, I couldn't believe that people were actually winning cases against people wanting to force vaccinate somebody. Like, I just couldn't even believe that. And that's what scared me the worst about getting out of New York. And I know a lot of people do not know that they were doing that, because people are out of sight, out of mind. They watch the mainstream media all the time. They never even take a second to even try to look at independent media or try to prove false what they're being told. They just accept anything they're told. I'm not a person like that. I want to know what the hell is going on. And like, I could not believe that people were winning cases in court to have people vaccinated. That shit was crazy to me. Then the government saying that they want this bill because it's for the public health safety to lock people up that refuse to get the vaccine. I was horrified. I was like, how fast can I get out of New York? I just didn't have no money to leave New York, because we were out of work for 8 months, and never thinking that we would go back to work and be shut down, open, shut down, open, shut down. It was like you couldn't even get a full paycheck, because every minute damn show would be shut down and you can't work. So it's like they really put everybody in a messed up position where they felt like they had no choice but to take this medical product. I seen it with so many of my friends that held out to the last day, and when the city made those mandates, they all took it. You know what I mean? And I was just never able to receive that because of that movie. That movie is the main reason why. Whoever made that movie, thank you. And like, I still have to say, people like Alex Jones and that book, The New World Order, and all of those things I read, I'm thinking, damn, these people are right. You know what I mean? And the mainstream media tries to make you think that all these people are bad, or that something's wrong with you because you don't want this policy or whatever. And I was like, I got to get out of here. Like, I really felt like I was a survivor in a post-apocalyptic film. And I felt like I was in that movie Escape from New York. Like, I was like panicking, like, I got to get out of here. These people they want to kill me. They think I'm a murderer because I didn't take the vaccine. Now they're saying they're trying to pass this bill to lock us up. And I'm going to read you this bill. Because this shit right here, New York has some crazy policies. New York went harder for COVID than anywhere in America outside of like California. I feel like New York and Australia had the worst policies for COVID. I don't know why New York was going so hard. Like, I feel like it always is. Now that globalists are running the world now, and they are like openly successful at infiltrating governments and stuff like that, I definitely feel that New York is like the poster child for globalism. And I definitely feel like New York, for whatever reason, they want to destabilize it here, maybe because of the economy here, Wall Street, whatever, I don't know. But I just like, some man told me that in order for globalists to rule the world, there can be no superpowers left. And just like in Equilibrium, a world war will do that. A world war where everybody's fighting and everybody's using their money to destroy each other, that gets rid of a lot of the population, which globalists say there's too many people on earth. So they want you to war. They want that. And like, all the money for a world war, and all the countries are warring, All of that money goes to the military industrial complex, which is a more globalist corporation. So the whole world's just funneling more money to them so they make them more powerful. It's such a scam. And I really wish people would just really wake up to what's happening. It's not conspiracy theory. It's all documented. And you can just, if you take a little time to research, you will see. People always try to say, I'm a conspiracy theorist. No, bitch, I'm not no conspiracy theorist at all. I don't believe any conspiracy. I research this shit and I find out what is true. And if I can't find out the truth, I'm not fucking with it. If I do find out what's true, I'm going to warn people. Y'all can't say I don't warn people when I hear shit. And this globalist agenda, I'm telling you, I don't think that we're going to survive through it. And I do feel like New York is going to be the epicenter for it. And I really feel that they felt that this COVID thing was going to be a way to, for them to, I don't know, the COVID thing just didn't go the way they wanted to. Like, I feel like people got this grown up with it fast and they caught on to it quick and people retracted from it. You know what I mean? Whereas now their new thing is going to be climate change. The whole world now has to get behind climate change. They tried to get the whole world to get behind COVID and these vaccines and all of this for the greater good, but that didn't work well. So now they're going to do it with climate change and they about to go hard with that too. But let me read you this bill real quick so I can come off of here, because this bill right here, this is unbelievable to me. And when people told me about that, I just thought that it was a lie. I really thought that it was also a conspiracy theory, and I thought it was bullshit. So I never really did read the bill. I never did really read the bill because I thought it was really bullshit. You have your lips sewn to right string media's ass. Hi, Larry. Our country would be great if people who watch television for political information stop voting. Hi, Larry. I don't really know what you're talking about. Our country would be great if people who watch television for political information stop voting. I don't watch television, Larry. That's the thing. So maybe if you knew me or watch some of my videos, you'll see that I don't watch television, Bill. So moving on. So now I'm going to show you this bill for people like our friend Larry here. And mainstream media. Oh yes, mainstream media is in the toilet. Yes, they are. And I feel like it's very disheartening that people. Only thing I can say is just brainwashed. Twice as many conservatives watch television for political information. I don't believe that, Larry, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, I might have been a person to think that. Before, but being that I was a person that I refused the vaccine, I saw that only conservative people were the ones fighting to keep the Constitution, and they were the only ones fighting, for people like me that didn't want the vaccine to get my job back. They were the only ones that were not completely drinking the Kool-Aid. I just saw that they were the only ones. And even to this day, it's still only, and I don't claim to be a Republican or anything like that, but I do have conservative values, period. I do have conservative values. Somebody's calling me. Let me decline this. I do have conservative values, and I always have. Now, when it comes to politics, Republican and Democrat and all that, no, I think that all of it's corrupted. Like I just told you, globalists control the governments. What are you telling me to look up? I don't know what you're talking about, Larry, and I will look it up, but no, I do not watch Fox News. No, I feel like they're part of it too. So how many people died from COVID? You sound like a leftist, but how many people died from the vaccine, Larry? Do you know the answer to that? Because if you don't, you need to find out. I'm not going to look up nothing right now, Larry, because I'm in the middle of my live. So I'm going to tune you out. Dennis says, I would like to study on drug addiction problem in New York City from 1980 through 2023. The surge of crack cocaine. Yeah, all of that. So I'm just going to cover up Larry because he's being an asshole. So let's and I can tell he's ignorant and he probably took the vaccine because when soon as people say how many people died of COVID, I know they drank the Kool-Aid, because now we know, after all of the research of all the doctors and scientists and different studies all over the world, because now it's been years, we learned that most of the people that died of COVID were already overweight, have other comorbidities, and had other things wrong with them, and that's why they died. The rest died because of the treatments that they were given were not correct. A lot of people died because they weren't letting the doctors treat them with the products that they knew worked. And a lot of people died from remdesivir and the ventilators. That's what we know today, Larry. Okay, so I want to read you this bill. Look at this bill. Please look at this. Now, everybody say this is, people like Larry would say, I'm a conspiracy theorist and I watch, I watch Fox News. No, I don't watch any of that. I'm an independent media girl. I don't trust, all of those media companies that he named are still owned by the globalist corporations I'm telling you about. The age that we're in now is no longer democracy. It's all now about corporations ruling the world. And they're telling you what they're trying to do. It doesn't have nothing to do with nationalism and different countries and everything. They want a one world government, and that is what they're fighting for. But let's get back to where we were with Assembly Bill 416. Now this one I'm reading from, I printed it because it's just going to be easier for me to read it without my glasses. Let me see if I can open this up so you guys can see that this is real. Look at this. It's Bill A1416. It's a public health bill. Here it is. Yes, this one is it. Here we go. Let me share my screen. 2021. This is the last time that they put this bill, that they proposed this bill. Now, this is real shit. I'm telling you, when I heard this, I thought it was a lie. I heard about this bill around the same time I told you everybody's acting crazy, telling me they hope I die, and everybody's running around, fighting with their family members that didn't take the vaccine, and everybody's foaming at the mouth because you don't have it, and you go to work and people trying to get you fired, and they treating you with racism because you didn't take the vaccine. So this is around the time I saw this bill, but I didn't believe it, so I didn't read it. So you see right here, versions of this were introduced in 2015-16 session, 2017-18, 2019, 2020. Happily that they didn't propose it this year, because I guess the cat got out of the bag during COVID, because like I told you, I remember House Show talking about it and say, oh, it's not a bill, to lock people up, it's just for public health safety, and try to downplay it. And I guess the people, mostly the conservative people, you have to thank them for this not going through, because COVID was their real opportunity to get this through, and they just blew it up so much. The independent media, which a lot of people, the mainstream media would like you to think that independent media are all conservatives and right-wing Republicans and all that, and they're just not. They're just journalists that want to report the fucking true news. So just look for yourself. And I like watching their news because they know that they're going to get challenged. So they have really, really good receipts. Now look at this. You can see what it says, okay? And they got pop-ups over this page. But you can go Google this your damn self on the New York Senate and see that this New York bill that they tried to pass 4 times. No, three times they tried to pass this. Before COVID. And I feel like this is going to come back again, because this is just an easy way to take away people's rights without due process. So I'm going to read you some parts out of this bill that was a trip to me. When I read this, I couldn't believe it. And I said, I can't get out of New York fast enough that they really would even construct some shit like this. And I feel like they really thought people were so scared that they would fall for this shit, but they just didn't. Okay. At the beginning, it says, and I'm reading the exact same thing from online, but I'm reading it off this. I printed it. An act to amend the public health law in relation to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public health. Okay, that's what the bill says. Okay, now section 1 of this bill, the public health law is amended by adding a new section. Okay, removal and detention of cases, contacts, and carriers who are or may be a danger to public health or other orders of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease. So that's why we heard how she was talking about, because she was trying to get this back again. She was trying to get this out for COVID. They tried to push this, but again, the conservative people that we hate so much and the Republicans we hate so much. I'm not even going to say Republicans. I would just say that the independent media is the one that blew this up, and the conservative people are the ones that ran with it because they're the party of keeping the Constitution and democracy, where the Democratic Party is for more government and globalism and stuff like that. That's what they are. Go study it. Go research it. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. Okay, listen to what they were trying to do. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier or suspected case of a contagious disease, that in the opinion of the governor, that's why her ass was up there talking about it, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality. The governor or his or her delegate, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local health departments. When I saw that, I knew it was time to go, because we already fucking know that CDC and the FDA, they are liars and they are full of it. And I would not trust them. I would not live in a city that is relying on them to say I'm sick or not, or what pandemic, what. If they could have got this, they would have been locking up people for COVID. And then when you get in there, they have the right to force vaccinate your ass. Look what they say. So the local health departments may order the removal and detention of such. What the fuck does that mean? The removal and detention. I understand what detention means, but the removal and detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order. So they could come they could come lock up your whole job, your whole family as a group, and detain all of y'all if they feel like it. This is something that y'all should watch out for, because I guarantee you this is going to come back again, because this is an easy way to lock up people without due process. This is even better than calling somebody crazy and locking them up. You know what I'm saying? They could keep you there as long as they need to keep you there, and you can't resist any of the drugs they want to give you to treat. This thing is so insane. And this is a New York policy that they was fighting for. And y'all sitting up here, mad at me because I don't want to be a follower of this bullshit. I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust no Republican, no Democrat. I just feel like the whole system is corrupted and we need to start over again. And like I said, the only people that's really fighting for the Constitution are, those conservative people like myself that are not hard on the left and hard on the right. They're just regular people in the middle that's like, I don't want globalism, so I'm going to lean more to the right, because I don't want globalism at all. That's what you're going to get with Democrats. I'm sorry, y'all. That's what it is. That's what you're going to get in. That's what you're getting. Look at what they are doing. Look at the condition of the world under these people. Look, every country has a liberal type of party and they have a more conservative type of party. The liberal party is always for this globalism type of thing. But now more countries are coming out of it. And that is why the United States and the West and Israel are standing alone. Everybody needs to wake up and see what is going on. The rest of the world does not want a global government, but that is what we are getting. What else was a trip in here? What else was a trip? There was, okay. So they talk about you being detained, and they say that you have 3 days before before they have to almost charge you with something. So they can come and lock you up, and they have 3 days to say, what they're going to do with you, and they have a whole thing in here about, when a person is detained, it can be up to 3 business days before you're heard by the courts. And if it's a holiday, too bad for you, because it says that on there. And when a person or group is ordered to be detained, for a period exceeding 3 business days, his or her, the governor's, his or the governor's, her or the delegate shall make an application for the court authorizing such detention within 3 business days. After any such request for release, so you can request for release, but you know they're not going to let you out, can continue. If it continues for more than 5 business days in the absence of a court, it can't continue for more than 5 days in the absence of a court. In no event shall any person be detained for more than 60 days. So they're saying that this whole process of you being in there could be 60 days. You know, they can just come and get you, lock you up, and leave you in there, and for 60 days, you know, or more, depending. Say they could just say, oh, well, Shelly's not getting better, so we're not releasing her. Or Shelly, you know, we haven't gotten a court order yet for Shelly to take this vaccine, or Shelly didn't take the vaccine. So they could just leave you in there indefinitely. And if you think they won't do it, they did it in I think in China. And I think they might have had people locked up in quarantine in Australia. But I know between those 2 countries, I know it was at least one of them. So that's what scared me and why I left New York. And when people ask me why I left New York, I really, you know, I really actually thought it was something else until I really started really recalling what happened. And it was this bill and the way people were acting. And I started really paying attention to the liberal policies and stuff. And I said, oh no, this ain't going to work for me. And I don't want my child to get 9,000 shots. So let me find somewhere to go where I don't have to deal with that. And I ended up going to New Jersey, and it's been lovely. New Jersey, you're allowed to submit a religious exemption, and you know, New York has no remedy for you there. You are stuck with whatever they tell you to do. You're freaking stuck. And I don't know how long, you know, New Jersey will keep doing this or whatever. And if they ever made it where you can't submit exemption, I would just have to quit my job or whatever and homeschool my son, because that's the only option that you have left. If you live in New York, you're screwed. You have no options there, nothing. And that's why I left New York. For that reason alone is this damn bill. Then it talks about, you know, they're supposed to give you legal counsel, but it's going to be a public defender. It tells you everything that's going to happen. And they say that if they ever propose this bill and it gets accepted, it goes into effect in 13 days. I'm just telling y'all to watch out for this, because I know this is going to come back around again, because if it ever gets to be where society has a lot of unrest, they will use something like this to lock up the people without due process. So just really pay attention to that. This is a Democrat policy. This is not a conservative or Republican policy. This is a liberal Democratic policy, and they have many of them. And that's why you guys should get on here and read some of these bills. Watch C-SPAN sometimes. See some of these hearings and see what's going on. Right now, I bet a lot of people don't know that they're having hearings about the COVID vaccines. Who's doing it? The Republicans. And not even all the Republicans, half of them are crooked. It's only certain Republicans that, you know, are trying to fight for the Constitution and trying to fight for their actual constituents like they're supposed to, and trying to get to the bottom of what happened with these damn shots. How come the rest of the government's not doing that? I don't give a shit what nobody say. I follow what I feel like is right for me, and I want to know what happened with those shots. I want to know. And they're the only people that's doing it. So I'm going to be following that story. And then it tells you when you're in the facility, you can't act in a disorderly manner, and you shall not attempt to leave the facility until you are discharged pursuant to this section. Okay, so they're telling you that your ass is going to be stuck there indefinitely. At least when you go to prison, you get a release date. You at least going to know, oh, I got 20 years here, or I got 3 months here, or whatever the case may be. With this, you know what I'm saying? You stuck. And then listen to this. This was the last thing I want to tell you about this bill, of why I left New York and why I was scared. Because it says, such period as will prevent transmission of contagious disease or other illness, to require testing or medical examinations of persons who may be exposed or infected by a contagious disease, or who have been exposed to or contaminated with dangerous amounts of radioactive materials or toxic chemicals. What radioactive materials are they expecting us to be? You understand? So you mean to tell me that they can release some radioactive shit on us and then say, oh, we can lock y'all up because y'all sick with it? I mean, this is a bill that I guarantee you is going to come again, or some other state will have it, or the feds will make a bill like this. I'm telling y'all, because this has been proposed like 3 or 4 times. And it tells you that they're going to be able, when you're in there, they can appropriate and prescribe a course of treatment, preventive medicine, vaccination, include directly observed therapy to treat that disease. So basically, they're saying you lose all your freaking rights if you come down with some shit and you end up in there. So that is why I left New York. I almost forgot about this bill was the reason why I left New York. I really, really thought that I left New York because I was working in New Jersey for most of the pandemic. And I said, let me move to New Jersey. That is what I really thought it was, until I really started keeping my notes and really thinking and pondering on the timeline of what happened. And it was that movie and it was this bill that they were trying to get heard and get passed. And that is what made me leave, because I said I will be the first person they lock up in this bitch. From all my posts, they know I don't have the vaccine. You have your friends and family snitching on you and stuff, just like in that movie. I knew I had to go. So that's that. You guys can read that bill all you want to. It's on the the website here. You can go look at it yourself. The New York State Senate is right up there for you to see it. And while you're there, I would suggest that you look up more videos. I mean, look up more bills and read them and see what they are, because I guarantee you're going to be in for a surprise of